Yo, what is up, boys? How's it going? And welcome back to another episode of the Rant Cafe, not Rant Cafe, the One Piece Virgin podcast. How many times am I gonna do that? Well, technically, I've been uploading the One Piece Virgin to Rant Cafe as well, anyway. So it's all the same thing. It's all one podcast, right? Right. With me today, we have a special guest, the Anime Dude, aka Charles Black. How you doing?
Not so special, but I guess I am a guest, so welcome everybody.
You are a special guest gamer.
Good to be here.
And we have the One Piece Virgin herself, Poseidon Mythos. How you doing?
Hi, I am doing good. I'm ready to yap.
Hell yeah, always ready to yap.
You'll love to hear it.
We are covering Alabasta today. All right, we're covering the first half of Alabasta, roughly. Okay, Poseidon, general thoughts so far, how you liking it? We finally made it here.
I'll be honest, I was kind of like going into this knowing that it was gonna be a longer arc. I don't want to say dreading it. I feel like that's a little bit extreme, but I was kind of like, oh, okay, it's gonna take a while. But I've actually thoroughly enjoyed my time in Alabasta with the Straw Hats. So I just finished up the episode where they finally managed to get out of the casino. So it's been fun. I've been actually enjoying it quite a lot.
So were they in like the prison in the casino? Is that where you ended off? Okay, got it. Okay, cool.
Yes, yeah.
They were like being held up, and the banana gators or whatever.
Yeah.
Crocodile being a fucking mafia villain. Okay. Okay, so that's about the halfway point. So far you're enjoying it. I do think it's like this is still the build-up of the arc, like right, like things are just starting to go down, things are starting to happen. But like you said, like you're enjoying it because at the end of the day, just seeing the Straw Hats and Vivi interact is always fun, at least for me.
Oh my gosh, I've come to love Vivi so much more, like as I continue to watch. So I'm really excited to see what happens because I know the second part it's gonna be a huge thing. All this build up starting like from when they enter the Grand Line is finally gonna like pay off here. So I'm excited.
So they finally land on Alabasta and they stop in a town for supplies first. And they run into two individuals. I don't know if you remember who I'm talking about here, Poseidon.
Well, there was a lot of characters.
Yes, there were.
Like they stopped at a lot of towns.
Yeah, it's also true. So the first town they run into Ace and Smoker. How did you feel about that?
So, oh my god, Ace is so silly. He's just another Luffy, but maybe a little stronger and a little smarter, but
and a little more mature.
Yeah, but he can be dumb sometimes, and I love him. I'm always excited to see Smoker. I think up to this point, Smoker still has my favorite devil fruit, and I also just him and Tashigi's interactions always crack me up. So yeah.
How about you, Jordan? The first town, it was pretty simple, but you get to meet Ace for the first time. Not the first time, because technically you saw him in like a little flashback during Drum Island, right? But this is the first like real interaction with Ace.
This is the first time we're actually seeing him, actually getting an interaction with him. I forgot how brief it was in the manga, as far as he interacts with Luffy, gives him the Vivre card, he blows up all those Baroque work ships, and then he's out of there. Like, I believe every other part of him being in Alabasta, like if you've seen him in the desert and stuff, I think that's anime only. So I can't really speak to those quite as well. I don't really remember those. So.
Interesting. Yeah, the pacing in the manga is definitely a lot faster, and it feels like a lot of the moments that I love from the anime are just so quick in the manga, which is a good thing and a bad thing at times, right? One thing I do want to say about Ace, it's just so funny when you get introduced to such a badass and strong character. Like, we know he's the 2nd Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates, and we saw how he took out whatever the millions or the fucking billions. So like he's OP, he's strong as fuck. But his first interaction is him falling asleep. He's falling asleep while having dinner or having like whatever, eating food, and everyone thinks he dies. Like, such a silly introduction. I think it works well for Luffy's brother.
Is that not something we all do every now and again?
Yeah, with
Thanksgiving?
With his fucking yeah, dude. After I eat, I need a nap, honestly. But like, dude, like literally, like his hand's still up in the air with the food. Everyone thinks he dies. It's hilarious.
what was it, like a desert strawberry must have got him or something. The poor soul. They were genuinely worried for him. I felt bad.
And then Poseidon, you got to see two Logias go at it. You got Smoker versus Ace, Fire versus Smoke. It was kind of just like a stalemate.
That was cool. I actually, like, prior to this, had no idea that Ace was also a devil fruit holder. I think out of all the devil fruits, I really like the ones that like turn into elements. So I really loved that little interaction.
Yeah, especially at this point in the series, Logias seem unstoppable. They seem so overpowered, and they
do.
they are to a certain extent. But when you have two Logias like Fire and Smoke going at it, it just kind of like blew up the town and nothing happened. It was a stalemate and they escaped, which was cool. Luffy had a lot of silly moments in this town, like he got lost. But then their plan right now is they're trying to locate the Revolutionary Army. Right, yes. So they stopped in this town to get supplies, and then they're moving on to like the next town or whatever it is, and they had the journey there. And there were some funny moments along the journey. I don't know if there's anything you want to talk about here, or either of you.
Just, I think Luffy going a little manic during just the traveling part, where he's like, "I'm hungry, I'm thirsty," and just like kind of going crazy. I think one of my favorite, like, something that comes to mind right away, one of my favorite little moments was, I believe he was drinking, was it like a cactus? Some sort of plant, and it had like hallucinogenics or something, hallucination, something on it, and he starts just like losing it.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, Luffy, why would you eat that? Why would you drink that? And he's just over here losing his mind.
Sometimes, like, the chill moments, the calm before the storm, the comedy is some of the best parts of One Piece.
Oh, 100%.
It was just such a roller coaster when it goes from, like, Luffy's, like, hungry and tired, and then loses the food to fucking birds that scammed him, and then is getting chased with a camel and a fucking salamander or whatever the hell, like, desert salamander, and they fought it and ate it, and then, like the fucking camel's like, oh, I only carry women. Like, it was just, like... What was the camel's name?
Was it Eyelash?
Eyelash. What a macho camel. Fucking Sanji if he was reincarnated as a camel. And then he eats a cactus because he's thirsty, and he gets high, and he thinks it's tsunami, then he falls asleep, and then Chopper fucking... Like, it's just like a roller coaster of, like, bullshit along the way. It's so fun.
It's like Nami and Vivi are, like, sitting on the camel just, like, rolling their eyes at their antics. And Sanji and Zoro and Usopp having to deal with it. I had a great time watching that.
It is definitely one of those things where, like, the crew dynamics and, like, the characters themselves are so strong in One Piece that even though a lot of those funny moments, there's some of them that aren't even in the manga, but, like, they're able to bring it to life on screen and have it feel so natural just because it's so well defined, right, between those character members. And
oh yeah. I feel like Vivi feels like a member of the crew so early on, even with her stupidity at times. Like, not warning the crew about the birds and the scamming. Or, like, she meets Bon Clay, which we have to talk about. I have to mention Bon Clay to Poseidon and get her thoughts. But, like, she meets Bon Clay, and she's like, oh, damn it, I never knew he was Mr. 2. Meanwhile, it's like he was described as a ballerina with a pink flamingo coat or whatever. It's like, how the fuck did you not know?
A coat that says the specific phrase. Like,
yeah. It was so ridiculous. Like, I fucking love Vivi. But, Poseidon, Bon Clay, how you feeling about that?
Honestly, his character is so ridiculous. But he is very dangerous as well. Like, being able to mimic other people's bodies is such a powerful thing.
Oh, yeah.
You could just pretend to be somebody else and copy their voice and everything. I think that is so threatening. But his character himself, I think, is so dumb. He's just like, he just wants to dance. He just wants to show off and flaunt himself. But when he needs to do the job, he will do it. Yeah. And for that, I think out of all the number agents, he's probably up there for me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I like Bon Clay a lot.
Nice.
At least right now.
God. All right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I was judging you there until you said you liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone loves Bon Clay, but for it's just the first half of Alabasta, so it's a good sign that you like Bon Clay. But at the end of the day, Bon Clay is an enemy and a powerful
Oh,
one. You
100%.
saw the way that he fought Mr. One and could hold his own
Oh yeah.
with his fighting style. He's powerful, he's dangerous, but he's introduced as a friend at first, which is very interesting because we didn't know that he was Mr. Two, even though Vivi should have fucking known.
And you can tell he's kind of a good guy as far as like the reason he fought Mr. One, right? Like Mr. One threw hands with a few of his crew members, and he's like, "Hey, that's not cool." You know, I'll throw hands with you even if you're a number above me, right?
Yeah.
You can even. I remember him even being so grateful when the Straw Hats like rescued him from the water. He's like, "You guys saved my life. I will be forever grateful for you," and like he was even entertaining them and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I honestly, his personality is great. I want to think at this point, like, he's a bad guy just because he's part of Baroque, but I think deep down, he might, have some sort of heart. But I guess we'll just have to watch and find out.
Hopefully you're not basing that off of what I said. I like the villains more in, like, every series I read, so I'm a villains guy. Crocodile is my favorite character in One Piece.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Future Pirate King right there.
Honestly, Crocodile's a great villain, and we'll get into that in a second. I'm trying to guide us like Nami chronologically a little bit. I'm trying to remember what happened next. So they start moving on to the next area, and what were those fucking little guys called? Those little karate
Kung Fu Dugongs or whatever.
Dugongs, the Dugongs.
Bro, I love those. I forgot about the hiking bear like last for Drum Island, and hiking bear is great. But I remembered the Kung Fu Dugongs. Those were like one of the best animals in One Piece. They were willing to follow him and be his apprentice to the end.
Poseidon, what do you think about the Dugongs?
They
were so cute.
They were very cute.
They're so cuddly.
I mean, I just have like an affinity for cute looking things. So I feel like every single cute looking animal that has come to One Piece, I have just been like, I want a plushie of that. It's so adorable.
I feel like if Poseidon was a pirate, the Dugongs would be part of the crew.
Oh, 100%.
Bro, that's what I thought as soon as like, are they native to this land? And they're like, no, they live in the sea. I'm like, just bring them with you. Like, they can swim. They can do it.
Follow Luffy.
I understand not wanting them to come through the desert with you when like they're literally like water is scarce and food is scarce and all that. But it's just so funny. Like Usopp goes to challenge them, gets his ass kicked. Luffy punches them out, and then right away they're practicing their punching moves. Like, no, not like that. Like this. Like this. It's like I fucking love One Piece, dude. It's the little things. It's the little things, man. And then they arrive in the. It's not the capital city, but it's like this town that they wanted to be like this. It was a big thing for Alabasta, right? And it was completely deserted. It was all covered in sand, and it was just one old man there digging a hole. Poseidon, I don't know if either of you want to take it from here.
Yes. So I believe this also was around the time where we do get a little context on Vivi's past, because that old man is involved with her at some point in her past.
I think his name is Toto, guys. I might remember one name in One Piece.
And it's him.
I can never. I always get this character. It's not Kuzan, because I know that's a different character.
Kosa.
There we go. For some reason, I keep thinking Kuzan, but we get context on who Koza is. He went to the king when he was younger, was trying to fight for the people, and the king offered him and Toto, his dad, basically sanctuary at his palace, and Koza and Vivi become friends, and we learn that Koza is the leader of the Revolutionary Army of some sort. Dun, dun, dun. And the dad is now at this town. I believe it was an oasis, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be the oasis. Yes.
And you get context. How the kingdom, I guess, hasn't been helping out with, like, the water. There's no rain, thus, like, the oasis dried up, and now Toto's here digging, trying to find some sort of water down there. But, yeah, that was honestly, like, kind of sad to see where things have gone with the kingdom. You know, people are suffering. You know, towns getting abandoned, and it's now Vivi is seeing what's been going on, like while she's been away.
Yeah, it
And
just
now
gotten worse.
it's just gotten so much worse, and you know, now she's just like, we need to fix this now. We need to fight Crocodile. We need to take down Baroque Works before they destroy the entire kingdom. And I think that was kind of a, like, I don't want to say turning point, but now, you know, things are getting really serious. It's not just affecting just like one or a small group of people. This is affecting an entire country. And now the Straw Hats have to figure out how they can save an entire country now. It's not just a town.
And it's a really tough situation. So the whole reason Vivi was trying to get to the oasis was to stop the Revolutionary Army. So do you understand Crocodile's little master plan here?
Yes. He's trying to get the people, right, to turn against him at
turn
some point.
Turn against the king, yes.
Yeah, turn against the king.
And so basically he's trying to cause like a civil war so that they could kind of take out each other, and then he would probably swoop in, or I don't know what his exact plan is. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't remember exactly, but like he's trying to get them to fight each other, turn on the king. He's like the hero right now, right? He like saves people from pirates and stuff like that, and he's gonna, I guess, try to take over, right?
That's one of my favorite things about Alabasta as an arc, is it's one of the first ones where we like kind of zoom out to the macro of the entire kingdom, and leading up to it, you know, you're on a ship, and we have just the crew themselves, and they're dealing with supply issues because, you know, while you think you'd have like a small elite number of people on a crew, that'd be one of the big benefits, is you don't have supply issues. But Luffy's a glutton and an idiot, so Sanji's like, I need to walk through my fridge. So like we're about to starve out here. Let's get the duck, hang him overboard, try to fish with him or something. But they're trying not to starve out there. But then you get to the Kingdom of Alabasta, and most of the little subpoints we've talked about thus far are them dealing with like the supply issues and the economics of the kingdom, people starving, people having to deal with the famine and drought caused from the dance powder, which is a cool little thing.
Jordan, what a great point. I feel like I've noticed this in other arcs later on, which I'm not going to get into, but like I do find like the little things that the crew is dealing with on the way ends up attaching to the story. So in this case, it's like they're dealing with scarcity of food and with lack of water or whatever, and they're hungry and all that. And then that's what the fucking civilians of Alabasta has been dealing with for the last fucking 3 years. And then, all part of Crocodile's master plan. It was
exactly. That's why he's my favorite freaking villain, man. Him and Bone Clay are over there playing politics and like artificially inducing these conflicts within the kingdom by like affecting the supply chain. And as soon as you meet Bon Clay, like him changing faces, the crew was like, that's not good, but considering he could, you know, act like the king or whatever. That could be very bad politically, but I don't know. It's a very well done arc.
Yeah.
I love to see it.
I love hearing different people's like perspectives on it. That's so great.
I was about to say, like, now that you say that, like, now I'm realizing, wow, like, what a great villain Crocodile is. He's playing 4D chess.
Yeah.
While everybody's playing
like
checkers.
I'm not gonna spoil you on anything to do with the second half of the arc yet, but I will say you stopped right before my favorite episodes of the series. Like,
I see.
If they had ended there, I'm good. I'm you know, I think like One Piece would have been a 10 out of 10 for me. It just like
next week we're definitely gonna cover, or not next week. 2 weeks from now, we're going to cover the rest of Alabasta. And this was just a build-up, right? Obviously, we still have some more to talk about. So what was crazy is in the backstory, we got to see that Kosa was, like, defending Vivi. They became such good friends. And Toto was, like, so, like, devout to the king and the kingdom. And it's just crazy to see him all these years later. Like, he was so fat, oh, my God, fat back in the day. And now he's, like, skinny and older. And he's still digging. And then, what's it called? He gives Luffy that little bit of water for the hole that he dug. And then the boys are on their way to the main city of Alabasta, Alabarna. Did I get that right, boys? Am I fucking doing it? Am I getting names? If only Tekking was here.
That sounds right.
I believe that's right. With how bad you are with names, the fact that you remember Toto of all people, and like you're locked in.
I love Toto, dude. I just like he's such a good dad,
He's
and
just
then like
a nice guy.
And no matter like literally like everything has been painted to pin Cobra as the bad guy, right? With the dance powder in the city found in the castle, ruining like the main city, getting all the rain and none of the other areas, like all the drought and the famine over 3 years. Literally, homie is starving to death, and he still believes in the king. Like he's my goat. He's just my goat, man. But as they're leaving for Alabarna, we get an interaction between Luffy and Vivi. I want to hear what you guys have to think about that.
As you know, I hate girls with blue hair, so that.
No, I have blue hair.
But Vivi is definitely an exception, you know? Like, she was out there throwing hands, she was ready.
Oh, 100%.
No. I will say I love that as well, because with shonen manga and anime, like, you know, there's always that idealistic aspect to it where you always feel like things are probably going to work out, and you know, usually they do, but Vivi is that stereotypical idealistic princess that kind of was a little bit sheltered growing up. She wants everything to work out for everybody. She just wants everybody to talk it out, and it's one of those things where she understands where the source of the problem is, but she's wanting to go a different route to avoid confronting that directly, because she doesn't want that conflict. She doesn't want anybody around her to get hurt. She doesn't want to there to be any repercussions there to the people she cares about. And I don't know. It was such a great interaction for Luffy just to say, hey, there's a chance something could happen, but like, you got to be willing to fight for it, put our lives on the line as well. We're your friends. We're with you. I don't want to ramble too much, but I think that's one of the highlight interactions of the arc for sure.
How do you feel about it, Poseidon?
Just like getting basically the sense just like slapped into her, right? Like, this is the reality of things. This is what it's going to take to try to fix this. And you know, I was honestly surprised when I started that episode. You know how like they announced like the title of the episode right before, you know, the whole thing starts.
What was the title of that episode?
It was like Luffy versus Vivi. I'm like, what do you mean it's Luffy versus Vivi? What is happening here? But then, you know, it was kind of a wholesome moment.
These hands are rated E for everyone.
It is wild, because I remember whenever I first watched that and stuff, you always get the feeling that Luffy's hands are rated E for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
But not like everybody, right? Like, when I first watched that, and like before you kind of like put it into perspective, you're like, the hell did he just... The whole crew was like that too. They're like, whoa, man, like, chill out.
Yeah. Poseidon, I cut you off though to make that stupid joke. What were you gonna say?
Oh, no, it was a very just like wholesome moment between the two. Like, you know, Charles Black said, you know, Vivi does have a very like idealistic, she has a solution in mind, but you know, things just don't work out that way. That's not the reality of what, you know, things are. So I think this was also a huge turning point for Vivi, where she kind of was just like, okay, we're just gonna have to do whatever it takes, right, to try to fix this. There is no talking it out. There is no like, you know, somebody is gonna have to get hurt in order for this to, you know, get resolved.
Yeah, like Vivi is trying to go about it like, let's like talk to Kosa and like stop the Revolutionary Army, whatever. Like, she's trying to avoid and save everyone, and Luffy's just realism, like, realistically, Crocodile is the fucking problem, and we're gonna have to fight him, and like, you're gonna have to trust us and like risk our lives along with your life. Like, you can't just try to do it all yourself and try to save everyone peacefully. Like, and then they start like hitting each other, and like Vivi starts crying. It goes from like emotional to wholesome to like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I think it's a good captain moment for Luffy. And Luffy is one of those guys that just knows like who he needs to take down, who he needs to fight in order to solve whatever the problem is.
Luffy is definitely one of those like stereotypical like wise idiots, if that makes sense, where usually he's dumb as hell, but like there's times where he's dumb as hell in the way that kind of has a point, where it's like, oh, like, okay, he's seeing like the bigger picture here, that he's looking at the heart of the matter in a way that most people might not, right? So.
One of the few serious moments Luffy has so far in this arc. But yeah, that honestly reminded me of Arlong Park, where Luffy had a very similar moment with Nami, where she was breaking down and all of that. So yeah, Luffy, when he needs to get serious, he will get serious, and he will, you know, be real with you. And I think that's what's so endearing about his character.
I agree. I agree. Speaking of Arlong Park and Nami, I like it's just a little thing that doesn't. It's kind of irrelevant. When Ace gives the piece of paper that had nothing on it to Luffy, just like Luffy, Nami saw that Luffy like kind of was like felt like the paper was important to him because it's his brother's, and she's like, "Let me like sew it onto your hat, like your other treasure, the other thing I know you're gonna take care of." And like just the fact that Luffy's like so willing just to hand over his hat and let Nami sew it into like the ribbon or whatever, it's just like I don't know, just something a small thing that I appreciate.
The only crew member that's betrayed them thus far has like the strongest bond of trust with them. You're not wrong. Those two trust each other so much.
I'm trying to remember what happens.
From Island too. Like they're like, you could die, but she's like, I trust my captain. Like, get me there, top of the mountain.
Yeah, it's true, right? What's it called? Luffy, Nami trusted Luffy to climb Drum Island or like one of the drums or whatever, and it was such a badass moment. But Poseidon, I'm trying to remember exactly what happens next. I don't want to spoil parts of the second half, so I know they make their way to like the main city, and there's the casino there, and I know Crocodile gets revealed to the rest of Baroque Works.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to go anything further than that, so if you want to take it from here and talk about moments or characters.
So, am I able to track back a little bit? Because there was something I kind of wanted to.
Absolutely.
I believe this might have been considered filler, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed this episode. The Sand Pirate.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't know?
The little kids or...
No. There was like the pirate. It was, I believe they called themselves the Barber Pirates, where it was a pirate crew, but they like have a ship on the dunes.
Did they cut out filler like that in One Piece, or?
Yeah,
they might have.
Okay. So like I've most recently read the manga and watched One Piece, so like I would not remember this, unfortunately. But if you want to talk about it in the chat. Go for it.
Yeah. No, go for it.
So I know this was probably considered filler, but there was like, I feel like some sort of like information or like context that this episode gave that added a little more to like, especially Vivi. But I can't exactly remember the name of this pirate, but there was a female pirate on this crew where I guess they were going to help transport, or help travel, help the Straw Hats travel, right? And they get stuck. Vivi and Luffy get stuck in some sort of like quicksand dune, and this particular female pirate was like, well, that princess can fend for herself, I'm not helping her. And you get context as to why she does not like Vivi, and turns out she was affected by all of the stuff that's been happening in the kingdom, and that's why she holds so much hate for her. And at the end of the episode, Vivi hears her out and like, here's coming from somebody who's lived in Alabasta and suffered through all of the pain and the everything that's been going through with everyone. She gets a little more like context as to like, oh wow, this is how it's affecting our people. So I know it's a little bit of filler, but I feel like that was such an important moment for Vivi as well, just again seeing what's been going on and how all these different problems that have been happening, how they're affecting different people. And I think that,
yeah, that's a good contrast. That's a very good contrast because we see how it affected Toto and his resolve remained. But I would imagine majority of people, or a good amount of people, have completely turned on the king. And we know, even though we know a lot of them did, we don't get to see their suffering and their attitude that much, other than maybe through Kosa. So I think that's actually some fun filler that's actually relevant.
Yeah, definitely don't feel like you're wasting your time with like, just because we say the word filler and stuff in some of these early arcs. I feel like when people complain about...
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, when people complain about One Piece filler, they're usually talking about way later on when they just stretch things out. Early One Piece, I feel like, has some of the best filler as far as like taking the context of the arc and like the characters and stuff into account, and then just making it feel very natural as they like expand upon that, right? So
yeah.
I actually love One Piece filler. I actually do like One Piece filler. I just hate the One Piece pacing. And those are surprisingly different things. So, like, the filler episodes themselves, I do tend to enjoy. I just don't have the patience for watching One Piece these days because, again, like Jordan said, later on, but even currently, I feel like just after Alabasta or even around Alabasta, it takes so long to get to, like, to where it needs to be because of, like, how much they drag out things. And it just gets worse and worse with every arc, I find. But the actual filler itself is fine. It's just like the episodes that aren't filler.
I still think One Piece has some of the best filler, like in like the big, mainstream shonen. I mean, some of it stuck with me to this day. Like all the scenes you get with Ace in the desert, like just mimicking the lizard going back and forth. I didn't rewatch that. I just remember that, right? Like it's one of those things that just sticks with you.
So apparently Naruto and Bleach had like 45 and 48% filler, while One Piece only has like 10 or 11% filler. But 10% of 1,000 is still 100 episodes of filler. But also on top of that, like it's more just the non-fillers pacing that tends to be drawn out more and more with every arc. I am a big fan of One Piece, but unfortunately you wouldn't miss those filler arcs that are actually decent, or those filler episodes that are actually decent.
No, that's cool to hear how much you liked it.
I also just love the concept of sand pirates. Like it was just so cool seeing them just kind of like sail through the sand and
What is this fucking Avatar?
Yeah, it was honestly kind of like that, but it was really cool. But yeah, that particular filler episode kind of like stuck with me a little bit after I finished it, where it's just like, oh wow,
nice.
Like I didn't know it was that bad, but yeah, going back to the casino, I enjoyed meeting the rest of the agents. And their interactions with each other is quite silly. They banter a lot. But I didn't know up until this point that they all had no idea who the boss was.
Yeah,
and
just
them
Vivi
being like,
knew.
oh my god, it's a warlord!
Yeah.
Well, what the heck? This is the guy we've been taking orders from?
And they were a little spooked, right? Like they were shocked, but also scared because they saw Crocodile like basically kill Mr. 3.
Oh
like, how crazy was that?
That was wild to see how easily he can just dispose of, his higher ranked agents. Just goes to show that he will do anything it takes to get to where he wants to be. Like
Mr. 3 may not have been the strongest, but when we watched him fight on Little Garden, he wasn't like a slouch. And Crocodile just grabbed his face, and he just disintegrated.
Yeah,
and he, go ahead.
It's crazy because Crocodile is not only like one of the strongest people we've seen yet. He can literally turn into sand. You can't hit him and whatnot. But he's also in the perfect environment, right? A place that already is deserty and already has a lot of sand and whatnot. Like he is a very strong character, but he doesn't rely on that, right? He's such a meticulous and scheming guy that he put together a whole secret organization to like bend things around behind the scenes and manipulate things in those ways. So
bro, he could have just walked in and killed the king, dude. Like he literally could have just flew in there and just killed everybody.
At that point, you don't have like the
context,
the trust of the kingdom, and then you don't have like the people willing to work. Like he has the people supporting him. He has the whole economic aspect of it. Like he takes these other things into account.
I understand. He also wants like military power. He's mentioned that already. It's just so funny. Like I never even thought about it. I'm like, this guy's such a master genius playing 4D chess. And I'm just like, realistically, he's so strong that before the Straw Hats got here, he could have just flown into the kingdom and wrecked everyone.
I wouldn't say everybody. Like Pell's there. I like Pell.
I don't think.
He's the eagle guy, right?
Go ahead.
He's the bird guy, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's the bird guy, okay.
I really don't think Pell and the other army and Cobra would have any chance against Crocodile.
They have a jackal guy, too. I remember that, because last arc, and they were like, Zoans, and Oda's like, that's a cool concept. Let me throw in a jackal and a bird. And so many cool characters here.
Anyway, Poseidon, if you want to continue, sorry. I
never
thought about the fact that like, Crocodile could have just floated and probably just wrecked everyone.
Get everybody nerding out. We start cutting you off. My bad.
No, you're fine. Like, no big deal. I don't recall. You guys can correct me, but I don't recall there being context as to why Crocodile is doing this. I do remember him saying, "This is where I was born and raised here. Like, Alabasta is where he's native." So I'm just kind of like wondering.
Bro, I didn't even know that.
I forgot that then. Huh. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what I heard when I was watching, but I'm just kind of wondering, like, why is it that he wants to destroy basically this country? Like, why is he wanting to see his entire like country? He grew up in fall, and
that's the thing.
Well,
is he destroying the country, or I feel like he could have done that already if that was his goal. Right?
That's true. That's true.
Maybe just taking over.
So there's two things that have been said that I want you to take note of. One, he did say he wants to build up a military power. He holds some value in that. He said that like to the group of Baroque work agents, the numbered agents. And then Ace also made a comment to Zoro that I think is pretty cool, but I don't know if I should get into it. He's just like, what would someone so strong want to do here? Like,
oh yeah, back at this old backwater place. Like, I wouldn't be out here if I didn't have.
Like, what type of pirate wants to settle down?
It's crazy. He's like, man, this is so early in the Grand Line. Like, who would want to be all the way over here, right? So.
Yeah. So maybe there's some type of ulterior motive, some master plan. We'll have to wait and see and find out. Do you have any theories on where this arc is going? Not even just Crocodile-wise, just in general.
I'll be honest. I do not know. There is just so much going on. You have the Straw Hats, you have Baroque, you have like the King, you have the Revolutionary Army. Like, it's just like, oh my God, there's so many things happening at once. I cannot like really pinpoint how this is going to get resolved. Like, I know it's going to at some point, right? But it's just kind of, how are we gonna get from where we're at now towards that? Like, to me, I don't know. But I also am very like excited to see. I want to see more of Crocodile. Like, he's a very interesting character. You know, so I want to be able to understand his, you know, reasonings and understand like why he's doing this. But I also want to see how the King is going to be able to resolve this, because he's already been under so much pressure for the past few years, and it's finally like all coming down. So
Poseidon,
that'll be.
If you had to guess who's going to fight who in the upcoming episodes, any idea?
Oh God. Oh.
It does keep you guessing. Luffy versus Vivi apparently threw her for a loop.
Luffy versus Vivi.
I want to guess there's going to be a point where it's Koza versus Vivi at some point.
That's interesting.
You know, they're basically on two different sides right now. Two best friends, you know, having to fight each other like they were as kids. That would be cool to see them do that as like, you know, all grown up now. Oh, something I also want to mention. I had no idea Miss All Sunday was a devil fruit holder. That was crazy when she was fighting Pell. Especially the type of devil fruit she has. That was a interesting devil fruit to have, where she can grow limbs basically anywhere. So that'll be. I kind of want to see her go against Luffy, where he has like a stretchy body, but she can grow body parts. That would be fun to watch.
I thought she was going to say she wanted to see her go against Vivi. I'm like, you just want to see Vivi go against everybody. Throw hands once. She got addicted. She's all right.
Oh, Vivi can throw hands. She's not a. I mean, she was.
She made him bloody. I think she bloodied his mouth, right?
If anyone can throw hands, it's Miss All Sunday. All right.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, Vivi, I'm sure she knew she wasn't going to beat Crocodile, but she was throwing hands with him. Like, she was doing whatever she could to try to fight him, even though she knew she had no chance.
I didn't know if you got to that part yet, but yeah, Vivi versus Crocodile. There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm fucking crying right now because chat just said something really funny. I would love Poseidon just to read it because it's so ridiculous, but this is how crazy One Piece gets and the theories get. Someone in chat just said, "I'm just saying Crocodile being Luffy's mom theory." like
what? What?
Crocodile being Luffy's mom theory.
Will not confirm or deny.
We will talk about that again. Never. In 500 million years. But it's just so
the internet memes.
Making any sense.
Sounds like a Nux title video.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
It does sound like a Nux title video.
Anyway, I'm just trying to remember here. So you're thinking maybe Luffy versus All Sunday. I almost slipped up there. But you play the fucking card game. That's why you keep on saying Kuzan. You probably played Kuzan, and that's why you keep on saying it.
Yeah. He's a staple card. I'm trying to think. I want to see Nami fight. I feel like I haven't seen her fight enough, because I know she's capable, but I want to be able to see her do something. I wonder if the king is gonna have a fight.
Ooh.
This coming second half.
Well, this is one of the first arcs. It's the end of like a big saga here, and it's one of the first arcs where there's a lot of enemies. Like you have Crocodile, Mr. 1, Mr. 2, all the way through fucking like 9 or 10, and you have a revolutionary army, you have the king's army. There are so many moving parts, and I do think there's going to be a lot of fights. You have all the Straw Hats.
The millions, the billions, the
millions,
and even
the billions.
The people, yeah. Like they're it's
you got Pell.
Oh boy, this will be a big one. But I'm very, very excited to finish this. I'm probably gonna try to get through it pretty soon. But oh, I also want to mention. I thought it was interesting seeing Smoker for a little bit with the Straw Hats while they were locked up.
Oh, yes.
He was just kind of like, Luffy's here, like, banging his head on the bars, like, let me out, let me out, let me out. Smoker's like, I already told you, that is not going to work.
Can you remind me exactly what happened in, like, these ending couple episodes that I didn't watch?
So, the last episode I got to was when they escaped from the casino, but basically they were all locked up. And inside this cage that's made out of some sort of material that's supposed to suppress devil fruit powers.
Sea stone.
So,
Sea prism stone, yes.
Poseidon should be an expert on that.
I'm sorry. And then Crocodile basically just left them to die. Let all of his banana gators,
yeah.
Yeah, banana gators just over there ready to have lunch. And Sanji, who I thought was quite interesting because during the meeting between all the Baroque works, Mr. 2 never saw Sanji. So they do not know who Sanji is.
Ooh.
They gave pictures. He was able to mimic, I believe, Usopp, Zoro, Luffy, and Nami, and Vivi,
Chopper.
right? Chopper. But he was not able to mimic Sanji because he never got to see him. So Sanji's kind of like their little secret where, you know, they don't know he's part of the Straw Hat. So I believe Sanji knows that is a thing, and he tries to bust them out because he knows he's not gonna really get caught. And you see him like in this disguise. He has like glasses. He's like, I'm gonna get you guys out.
Also, we
Mr.
already
Prince.
had the Mr. Prince moment. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I didn't want to spoil anything. That's why I'm like, can you remind me what happened these last couple episodes?
Where him and Chopper beat everybody up outside of the casino.
Mr. Prince coming in to save the day. Let's go.
Yeah.
Speaking of great moments in the castle, do you remember how they got caught? Or
remind me.
It's like VIP room this way, pirates this way.
Oh yeah, and then he's like, "We're pirates. We have to go."
I love it because it's so serious, but also so stupid in ways like that.
Oh
like...
my god, I love One Piece. My chat is so fucking stupid. They're like the Crocodile being Luffy's mom theory, and now they're like Smoker inspired me to start smoking cigarettes at the age of 14.
No.
Thank you, chat. Very cool.
No, that moment was funny because I remember Nami being like, "No, don't turn there, don't turn there," and they all like fell into the trap. She's like, "What did I tell you?" Yeah. So I thought that was really like interesting that Crocodile and Baroque don't know about Sanji's existence. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see him kind of play that role into this. But I particularly like that. Because the last episode I watched was when they escaped, and you know, Smoker has a devil fruit power, so he can't swim, and the Straw Hats basically saved his life. They, you know, got him out of there, and you know, the Marines were all coming after them, and he just goes, "You guys saved my life, so I'm gonna let you go just this once." So I thought that was really cool.
Hell yeah.
Smoker is probably, you know, one of my becoming one of my like top characters, just because I think he's also just super silly. Like he's someone who he has one goal in mind. He doesn't care how he's gonna do it. He's like, I must catch the Straw Hat. It's like playing cat and mouse with him and Luffy, and I think that's so funny because he even has his little moments as well where
it's interesting because he thinks all pirates are scum, and then the one person he's trying to catch is Luffy, and like time and time again, like he's kind of doing decently okay things. Luffy trying to like save a country and stuff like that. He's traveling with the princess, so it's a cool dynamic there. And seeing Smoker be like, let them go.
It's like when you have a group of people as big as pirates, you know, there's going to be a little bit of shades of gray there, and him actually seeing that for a bit is like, I don't know. There's so many things going on in One Piece. It is wild. It's a lot to keep up with.
I love hearing people talk about One Piece. I love it so much.
I also want to know one of my favorite like moments during these like few like last like episodes of the first half was when Zoro and Tashigi run into each other, and Zoro's like, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm not gonna fight you. Like, he's scared of her, even like just doesn't want to deal with her because it looks like his, you know, childhood friend. And I think that is so funny because she's like, no, fight me, Zoro. We need to settle this. And he's like, no, I am not fighting you. And he's running away from her like a little girl.
Just hurry up and kiss already. God damn it.
I know. I just think their dynamic is so silly because, you know, Zoro, he's a fighter. He will throw hands and he can be really serious. But with this one girl, he just cannot deal with her.
And he's not like chivalrous like Sanji, who wouldn't want to fight a girl. Zoro would fucking cut her down. You know, maybe show her a little bit of mercy, but not really. But like it just throwing him off. It's throwing him off too much. I love it.
It's freaking him out, and he's just like, I just don't
like
want to look
the
at
Going
you.
Merry was replaced as the best ship. It's crazy.
I'm glad you're loving it, Poseidon. I'm glad you're so into it. I know Jordan probably has to take off right around now, right?
Yeah.
I do got to dip, but thank you guys so much for having me. I'm glad to hear you're loving One Piece. It's been really fun kind of going over it again.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to keep watching.
Oh man, I'm excited to see what you think about it. So.
All right, take it easy, Jordan. I'm just gonna ask Poseidon like her final thoughts here, and then we're gonna probably call it.
Sounds good. Later, guys.
Later, dude.
Bye, Jordan.
I can just tell because he was saying he had a meeting or something. I'm like, I can just tell I can tell by the look on his face. Like he was like he was doing some things in the background. I'm like, you could go. It's okay. You could go. But yeah, final thoughts. Any final moments or like final ideas you want to talk about?
I'm just really looking forward to seeing how the rest of this is gonna go down now that Crocodile is going to be more involved. Is it gonna be outed that Crocodile is the villain here? Like, because everybody in this country is like, oh my god, Crocodile, he's a warlord, he saves all of us from all the trouble. Like, so I don't know if he's gonna use that.
He's playing it off as the hero right now. What could he be up to? It's really it's exciting. This is one of the bigger arcs for sure. I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I think you're in like this was the build up. I feel like the arc starts like 3 episodes ago. Not starts, but like that's when shit's like really starts going down, right? Like they get captured. Sanji shows up, kind of saves them. Fights are about to get started soon. Like it's like the Revolutionary Army and are like on their way to the capital. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean the people are riled up. They, the Mr. 2 posed as the king, and their people, I believe they're called the Millions. They posed as the king's army, and they were going into towns and going into that one town, and they were beating the people up. So now I think it's such a turning point for the entire country where, a war will be breaking out. And we also kind of ended off where the king is missing, the real king.
Yeah.
We don't know where he's at. Did he get kidnapped? Did he go try to find Vivi? What is happening now? So I'm really looking forward to see how the rest of this is going to play out.
Hell yeah. Honestly, like me not knowing what episodes you covered there, it was great just like hearing your raw, like genuine, like kind of like thoughts on everything towards those last episodes. I want to push you to do that more for like the for like the next episode and stuff. I'm just gonna play dumb and pretend like I know nothing, and I'm gonna let you take it from here because honestly I love hearing that. Chat, I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to check out Poseidon, check out the podcast. It's the One Piece version on Spotify and everywhere else. And just like that, boys, we'll see you all next time, all right?
Bye.
Bye.